Hi, this is Billie Beene here with another segment of Truth by Billie Beene Special Report. Today's date, February 13, 2023. This is my first update. This is my third YouTube channel. I have a subscribe button in the lower right corner of my screen. Thanks for like, subscribe, and share on YouTube and Rumble. Episode 511. Texas, NOTAM, a no-fly area. What's going to happen first by a first strike by Russia on London and D.C.? And the Pentagon is now saying they shot down ET orbs. Is this Project Blue Beam being put forth by the deep state? What's going on in China? And prosperity. Yes, we want some positive news after all of this war and ET information. Some of my sources are God and the Bible Patriot subscribers, Hal Turner, Dave Hodges, Duran. Duran is Alexander Makarus out of London and Alex Christoforo out of Greece. Off-Grid Desert Farming, Redacted, Steve Quayle's site, Daily Mail. Beforeitsnews, an interview by David Nino Rodriquez of 107 and Karina. War News 24/7. Steve Quayle's site. No, Beforeitsnews, American Military News. Beforeitsnews ShariRaye. So let's get started. I had a lot of response from Patriot subscribers who were talking about what's being shot down all over the U.S., and now we have reports that their similar ET orbs are being shot down over China. So I have a Patriot subscriber. I live in Michigan, and it's good to prepare right now with food and water. And I understand the rumors going around. Something big is going to happen. February 13 or 14. God bless us all. I have a Patriot subscriber. I live in northeast Wisconsin next to Lake Michigan. All night long we've been hearing helicopters. I stay inside and pray. Yeah, we had yesterday, now they're coming out saying it was an ET orb over Lake Huron in Michigan. Okay, and they had something also going on in Ontario, Canada. Okay, I have a Patriot subscriber who says, we have planes that are standing still, which would be a NOTAM, over Spring, Texas. Why? This came in last night. I don't know. There's nothing on the internet about it, so I'll have to rely on other Patriot subscribers to put forth information. Now, I had a Patriot subscriber who was talking about the hexagon shape, and that's what I was saying yesterday. I actually did a misspeak on that, and so let me draw this for you. What was being put out is that the ET orbs were octagon, and I drew octagon, but I kept saying hexagon. So octagon is like 8-sided, like this. So, octagon. Now, this is a very sharp Patriot subscriber who says, I think that's the shape of an umbrella. An umbrella is an off-world, plus they have underground facilities here in the U.S. And I believe they also work with Monarch out of an underground area. Here's Canada, the U.S., right here in this area. So, yeah, this is I have Patriot subscribers who know a lot. Yep, I agree. This would be a symbol for this corporation umbrella. Who Peter, the insider, who is a director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, Alien Contact Intel Organization, which is a division of the U.S. federal government, NSA, has talked a lot about umbrella. So this wouldn't surprise me that this is an off-world. They're bringing on shades of Project Blue Beam. It's the ETs now. Okay. No, and I have another Patriot subscriber says, these are fake objects. This is Deep State Project Blue Beam. Have no fear. The white hats are here. Okay. And I have another Patriot subscriber says, it's like an orb. It's not a balloon. They began being balloons, and now the last three, the one that was shot down over a Dead Horse, Alaska, and also that was the Yukon area in Alaska, and now this one over Lake Michigan. These have all been orbs that did not show up on U.S. military radar. So that's going on. Yeah. Now we have this. So now we have the Pentagon and Off-Grid did a good report on this. I'll link theirs. And Steve Quayle's site, Daily Mail. So the Pentagon is now describing what they're shooting down as orbs. And they're saying they're alien, ET, and they're octagon shape. And over Lake Huron in Michigan yesterday, they shot one down with an F-16. Now, the Pentagon spokesperson who's coming out with this is General Van Herck, H-E-R-C-K, of the Air Force. And he's saying that 2 in Alaska and the one in Michigan were orbs. They were not Chinese balloons. Okay, and he's saying we connect. So we had one come in over Montana. That was February 11, and jets were scrambled, and they couldn't find it because it evades radar. So they tried all night, and then the next day, on February 12, they tracked it to Lake Huron in Michigan, and said it had the same signature as the one they had spotted the day before in Montana. So they shot it down with F-16. I think that was an AIM-9X missile. So the good news is it's like the Predator movie where the Predator left some kind of yellow blood on a plant, and Dutch, the main character played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, said, well, if it bleeds, we can kill it. So for sure, if we can shoot these down with missiles, we can take them out. So that's going on. Now we have War News 24/7. And they're bringing this out, that the U.S. military could not see on radar. Yeah. Could not see the orbs. They could not detect them. And also in Canada, we have had an F-22 who also fired on the orbs. And War News 24/7 is saying NORAD did not detect on U.S. radar the orbs until they were inside Alaska airspace, unlike the Chinese balloon. Now we have some information coming out from Dave Hodges. He has a show, Common Sense. That's his website. I don't think he's on YouTube, but he has this website, Common Sense. Okay. And he's been a truther for decades. Okay, I think he used to be a college prof and a coach, basketball coach in college. and then now he's a truther. Okay, so Dave Hodges is saying it was not Chinese balloons for the last 3. It was some type of orbs. That's his intel. And they're calling it UFO. The mainstream media is. He thinks it's a deep state spin. Shades of Project Bluebeam. And I have Patriot subscribers saying the same thing. And this was an interesting point that he had a co-host put out. Never in the history of the U.S. have we had inside our borders a live combat situation take place where we had our military firing a missile from a U.S. military plane onto anything. So that's a first. And Dave Hodges intel, the object, the orb, the laser and radar didn't track it. And they're saying it's some type of ET or unusual device. The Navy's putting that out. Dave Hodges' assessment is it's UFO black ops, or it's a deep state trying to get us into some kind of war, or it's a deep state Project Bluebeam. But yeah, that's going on. And now we'll move to what's happening in China. Okay, we know the deep state wants to, and the shadow U.S. government, the shadow U.S. military, the shadow NATO, they want World War III because they make money from it. And they benefit in many ways. Okay, China. Now, yesterday I brought this out that inside China, they had 2 areas where they also shot down. They shot down 2 orbs. So the ETs are not distinguishing between the U.S. and China. And this was in Shandong. And this was province, which is like a state. So that's there. So we have Japan down here. We've got Taiwan. Over here we've got Vietnam. We've got Cambodia. We've got Thailand. We've got Laos. And this is where the UN is moving from New York City. Okay. Now, I have a Patriot subscriber talking about China. I heard a podcast that China wants to sink Michigan and Wisconsin. Pray for us. Well, what I've been getting from multiple sources is China has an interest in the U.S., but they don't want to destroy the land. That's why they might bring about an EMP if that was their choice. But we have to remember, we have a divided government inside China as we do in the U.S. They have black hats and white hats as we do. So I don't think they want to sink Michigan and Wisconsin. Now, take it over in some fashion and control it? Possible. Okay. So I have this. I have Patriot subscriber says, I think a lot of these are crisis actors, like in Turkey and China. Is it Sun Tzu Art of War that they're, bringing about some type of Project Bluebeam, crisis actors? Okay. Now we have this coming out from War News. The U.S. wants to circle China, and they are currently setting up. So we have over here Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, South China Sea, and we have down here the Philippines. And the U.S. wants to open 4 new bases in the Philippines in their bid to take down China or participate in World War III. So that's going on. Now we have this. We have a Patriot subscriber. He's talking about Russia wants Alaska back. And they will invade through Alaska. Well, yeah, if they were going to invade us, I would say that that would be a way to come. I remember when Sarah Palin was running as the vice president candidate with John McCain. She said, "Oh, I have international experience. I can see Russia from my back porch." She was from Alaska. Yeah. Okay, so Redacted is putting this out, that Elon Musk has cut Ukraine from using Starlink. Now, they had been using Starlink, of course, for their internet, but also to control drones that were being used to attack civilians inside Ukraine. Now, Scott Ritter, Hal Turner is coming out with this, that Ukraine is using chemical weapons on Russian soldiers. There are also reports, and we've been hearing reports, and this is not the first time, because I recall at least maybe 4 or 5 instances since February of 2022 of Ukraine using some type of chemical weapon. So now we have this. Hal Turner's information was that the chemical that the Ukraine was using against Russian soldiers had to be refrigerated. Now, Peter the Insider, who's head of a division in the ACIO and part of the NSA, months ago reported on an off-world weapon, and we're seeing this off-world tie to the Umbrella Corporation with regard to the ET Orbs and most likely with the Chinese balloons. Okay, so an off-world corporation, Umbrella, that's has at least some locations on the border of Canada and the U.S. Underground. And Peter the Insider said sometime in 2022, the deep state had taken, or the deep state and these off-world corporations had taken this off-world chemical product to Ukraine that had to be refrigerated at a very low temperature, and then they were going to attach it in little packages to bombs they were going to drop on Russia. And Peter said it was unstable, hard to use, because you had to keep it way, way cold. And then, even then, when you attach it to the bomb, got it out of the freezer and attached it to the bomb, you had to use it immediately within hours, or it wasn't any good. Now we're hearing that the Ukraine military is using some type of chemical that has to be refrigerated. I submit there's a possible tie there. And now we have this. We have some reports, I think primarily from Scott Ritter, or Scott Ritter was responding to reports that Russia had used the airspace. Let me just add these to my list. Okay, Ukraine. Here we have Russia. We've got Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson, Odessa, Crimea, Turkey, And by the way, the death toll now in Turkey last night was up to 33,000. My prediction was 40,000. Other people are saying now 100,000. There are varying reports coming out, but we do need to continue to be in prayer for the people of Turkey and Syria who are also suffering. Okay, so now we have this little country, Moldova, and it has a small location, Tranista. That's actually Russian military are here. And then we have Romania right here. Now, Scott Ritter was, reports are coming out that Russia had violated the airspace of Moldova and Romania. And Scott Ritter said it's a common thing that happens in a wartime setting. They were firing from subs, and they may have, breached a small amount of airspace of Moldova and Romania, but they are not bombing Romania and Moldova. That just is something that happened. Okay, and now we have this. We have War News 24/7. Yeah. So now we're hearing these fantastic numbers, which I would have to lead credence to. Russia has something like 300,000. We know that Iran has sent in, was that 100,000? I think I may have reported on, but we have Iran, we have Chinese, we have North Korean troops there, plus. All right. Have mounted, and they are going in now, and they have forced Ukraine out of Bakhmut. And the last escape road was the route to Chasiv Yar. That's been lost. The mercenaries are leaving, and currently Russia is banning journalists to enter Bakhmut and Soledar. Soledar would be right about there. So no journalists allowed there. I would believe it's probably too dangerous. Now, War News is reporting Russia has taken Bakhmut, and now they move north. They're moving to Soledar, and they're also moving this way to Kharkov, and they're calling it Thunderbolt. And now we have this coming out from War News. This is part of the response to the CIA, the shadow U.S. government, the shadow NATO, the shadow U.S. military, and other shadow militaries around the world who participated in blowing up the Russian pipeline N1, N2. And the U.S. CIA was involved. Okay. So War News, this is coming out that Russia's response by President Putin to Seymour Hersh's report about the U.S., Norway, and Germany blowing up the Russian pipeline. And this is being put up by Russian media. Currently, Russia is in peace talks. We don't know with who, we don't know where, no details were given. But this information was put up by the Russian government to their Russian media to be put out on a global basis. And if the peace negotiations fail, and we don't have a time frame for them either, then Russia will invoke a nuclear first strike. And yeah, that's going on. They've said that. And they would strike the U.S. nuke bases that are in the Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Italy, Turkey, and also military objectives inside the continental U.S. And I have more information about first strike. I'll give that shortly. The Ukraine losses for January, according to the Russian military, they lost 6,500 troops, 26 aircraft, 7 helicopters, 341 tanks. Now, Beforeitsnews, American military news, I found this interesting, is putting this out that for the first strike, now this initially came out June 27, 2022. It's being reposted in Beforeitsnews on February today, 13. In June, a Russian lawmaker came on Russian TV who is an ally of President Putin. His name is Verya Pakahet. Okay, his name is VREMP. Last name is PAKAZHET. This is the lawmaker that came on Russian TV in June of 2022 and said, when Russia gets ready to make their first strikes on NATO, the first city we will strike will be London, and then next Warsaw, Berlin, Paris, DC. And our first strike will be to take down their satellites. Our second strike will be to take down their anti-missile defenses. Yeah, so that's going on. That came out in June. It's being reposted. So things are heating up. And now we have this going on over Washington, D.C. So we have a report. This is from Hal Turner. So we've got the U.S., Texas, Mexico, California. And let's remember, here's Houston. Right here we have Spring, Texas. And this is where my Patriot subscriber said there was a NOTAM. And that would have been yesterday night. So we don't have any details on that. Now, we have Hal Turner saying that in Washington, D.C., the U.S. military is going to conduct an exercise, and that is going to take place February 14 from midnight to 2 a.m. in the morning. If they can't finish the exercise due to weather, they'll carry it over into the next day. They will be flying low over Washington, D.C., 2,500 feet, which is 762 meters. This sounds just like the exercise they just completed in San Diego, California, doesn't it? Flying low over the streets. Okay. And the commenters, yeah, were that this is a practice for a Project Bluebeam or something else that's fake. Okay. Yeah, that's the assessment going on. Now, yesterday on Beforeitsnews, we had an interview of David Nino Rodriquez of 107 and a lady called Karina. And Karina lives, she reports on Washington, D.C. And she was bringing this out. around the White House, which began February 11 to 12, is going up a fence that is 10 feet tall. Okay, 107 said he reached out to his contacts and no one has a good explanation for it. Now, Nancy Drew, according to ShariRaye in Washington, D.C., said that recently this week there had been activity around the White House and a landing of helicopters on the grass in front of the White House, which I'm interpreting is unusual. That happened Thursday, February 9, when there was some type of meeting in D.C. Okay. And we have this. ShariRaye is bringing this out about good things coming in the spring. I'm hearing positive comments from people working in the field of economics, bringing on NORAD, a new banking system. And she's saying that if you're 62 plus, you will receive all the money you've paid into the IRS, plus money for your birth certificate. Yeah, I still don't know how to calculate that, but excuse me, apparently the deep state, somehow someone would be born and they could, there was a group of birth certificates and then they became a commodity and then they could put them on the stock exchange and make money off of them. So you're due your money back that was made on your birth certificate if you're 62 and older. And she's hearing that for this money, you would get one payment for 11 years. So you would get an annual payment for 11 years to cover this money. If you're on Social Security, for each individual, it will go up to $5,000 per month. So we got that going on. And that there will be no digital bank system because it's been rejected by many nations. Yes, I think, the American citizens and others awake citizens around the world said, you got to be kidding me. I'm not going to give control over my money to a government, no, or another group. And ShariRaye is reporting that ExxonMobil is leaving Iraq. So I think that has something to do with NORAD. Okay, we have this from Patriot subscribers. God bless America, one nation under God. And another one, angels are all around America. Yes, and we pray for peace and prosperity for America and all nations around the world. It's good to remember God is in charge and He is on the move. I love you and I'll see you soon.